Hello YouTube, this is Chuck, and today I'm coming to you from an undeveloped piece of property right in the middle of town, and I got another firefighter story for you. So let me get around here where I can talk to you. There we go, I hope that's all right. This wooded area I'm about to show you is back years ago there used to be a homeless encampment in here, and all of our little towns all have homeless people, and I'm going to tell you a story about a couple of them that lived here. And so with that I'm going to spin you around so that I can kind of show you this, and I'll explain the situation to you. Panning slowly. Trying to get around here where the light's a little better. Down here in these rocks, used to be a bunch of boulders in here. Used to be more than there is now. There's still a lot of graffiti and a lot of trash back in here, and apparently there's still, from time to time, there must still be people spending time in here. But at one time, this area right in here used to be a homeless encampment. And one of the guys that lived here was an old guy named Victor. And Victor was, probably at the time, he was probably in his 60s, early 70s. And let me get back around here where I can talk to you. Anyway, Victor was in his probably 60s, early 70s, something like that. He's a big guy, loud, booming voice, big personality. But he was a homeless guy, and he had a substance abuse problem. And he had another guy that hung out with him all the time by the name of Daryl. And so Victor and Daryl, they lived back in here. They had had tents, and they had blue tarps over everything. And at one time there was probably 10 homeless people living back there, a bunch of old guys, and most of them had substance abuse problems. They didn't have any money, and they didn't have any place to go. And so during the summertime they'd live here, and then a lot of them in the wintertime they'd go down south into desert areas where it was warmer. And then as soon as it started getting hot down there, they're back up here again. And we still have that homeless issue here. I mean, I don't deal with it on a daily basis now, so I can't tell you how many. But I guess probably 50 or 60 in the summertime that live in national forest lands around town. But Victor and Daryl, it seemed like every time the weather would get cold, somebody would take pity on them, and they would give them a little bit of help or let them stay in a shed or something. And it seemed like they were here for quite a few years. But they kind of built up this area here, and we used to jokingly call it Victorville. And Victor, of course, was the mayor of Victorville. And we get calls down here pretty regular, usually medical calls for one of the folks down here. Once in a while there'd be a fight, and we actually burned it down one time. And we get a lot of times during the dry season when campfires were banned, these guys down in here would still be having their campfires, and so we'd have to come over here and put their campfire out, and police would give them a ticket and tell them to move on. But there's still the homeless people are still around. They're still here. But we had quite a number of calls on Victor over the years, and on Daryl. We actually did a full cardiac arrest on Daryl on an alley behind one of the local auto parts stores, and actually did paramedic magic and saved him. And but Victor and Daryl, if they weren't drunk, they were trying to figure out a way to find enough money to buy some booze to get drunk again. And they had, God love them, they had a substance abuse problem like a lot of the homeless people do. And they finally, they lived here for many years, and then finally, apparently something happened to them. I don't even know for sure. I'm sure they're both dead and gone a long time ago now. But anyway, this little area of woods behind me here, I'm going to give you a pan to show you what's here now, because this area has grown up around this. Now, this particular area is going to be developed one of these days. There's been a couple of projects that were planned in here, but nothing's been built here yet. But let me spin around, give you a pan, because immediately to the south of where we're at here is industrial area. Immediately to the east is the backside of our Walmart Supercenter, if you can imagine that. Then over here to the north, the other side, right on the other side of this little hill. This little hill is part of this property, the other side of the van there. And there's houses right on the other side of that. And then back around here toward the rocks, you can't see them through the woods, but there's actually apartments right back over there, and that's probably what's going to happen here. I think this is zoned for higher density development. But thought you'd be interested in hearing about Victor and Victorville. And unfortunately, like I say, there's people that are down on their luck, and every little community has them, and we have our share. And usually our area here is 15 degrees cooler than metropolitan Phoenix in the summertime. So naturally, the homeless people, they want to get out of that 110 degree heat as well. So they'll come up here, and the Forest Service goes around and routs them out of forest land and makes them tear their camps down and tells them to move on. And it's fortunate that our society has that problem, but it is what it is, and we all know about it. So I thought you might enjoy that story. And with that, I'll let you go until I find the next one. I'm out kind of looking for stories today. And so, as I always say, take care of each other, love each other, and we'll see you on the next one. And peace out. Let me turn this around so I can find the button.